What's up, guys? This is Elo Speaks back again with another video. And this video topic, I'm going to be talking about Draymond Green once again. So he's in the news right now for his recent statements that he made about Skip Bayless and comments that Skip Bayless made on his podcast the other day. Now, as we know, Skip Bayless and Draymond Green are not the best of friends. They personally don't like each other, and for obvious reasons. I'm not going to get into that. But what prompted me to make this podcast is because of the statements that Skip Bayless made about Draymond Green recently on his podcast, how he labeled Draymond Green as the dirtiest player in NBA history. Now, that's a big statement to make as regards to, a claim like that. And me personally, I don't think Draymond Green is the dirtiest player in the game. If it were my opinion, it would be one of the players from the Bad Boy Pistons era in the late 80s. But that's just my opinion. I think it was Beer Lambier. That's who I personally think is one of the dirtiest players in the game. But that's just my opinion. But for Skip to say that Draymond Green is the dirtiest player in the game, again, that's his opinion as well as too. Draymond Green is not the most innocent basketball player on the court. He has done a lot of, dastardly things on the court. He stomped on Sabonis' chest. He choked out Rudy Gobert. He punched a teammate. He kicked Steven Adams in the private area. He's done a lot of questionable things. So it's not crazy for Skip Bayless to say that Draymond Green is the dirtiest player of the game. I don't think he's the dirtiest player of the game. He's up there. He doesn't play clean. He goes below the belt. He does a lot of, questionable things, I may add. But to say that he's the dirtiest player in the game, nah, I disagree with that. So, Skip Bayless says that, but you already know Skip Bayless, he says a lot of outlandish things to go viral and to get a hot take, with the Tim Tebow, Tom Brady, MJ, etc. He said a lot of things just to get people riled up, get the people going, get the people talking, because it builds engagement and stuff like that. And we already know with him on Undisputed, with Keyshawn Johnson, and now Paul Pierce, he's trying to keep the show alive by saying crazy outlandish things just to get the people talking. Now we go into the Draymond Green side of the issue. Draymond Green on his podcast responded to Skip Bayless on his podcast, and he had a few words that he wanted to say to Skip Bayless, and I have the quote right here. So him responding to Skip Bayless, it says, I quote, "I'm not coming on your show, Skip. I'm going to keep skipping past you just like everyone else skipped on you because that show is dead and no one wants to hear you talk anymore. In the words of Richard Sherman, I am better than you. I'm better at life. Skip. Keep skipping, Skip. That's a wrap." And that's Skip Bayless. That's his response to Skip Bayless. And then he went on to, show off his achievements, his championship rings, his other accolades, like all first, all defensive team, etc., stuff like that, showing him that Skip Bayless would never accomplish these types of feats in his life ever, because we already know Skip Bayless is garbage in basketball and unathletic and would not be able to even play at a high level of a professional basketball player. So that's the type of shot he was taking at Skip Bayless. And me personally, I have no problem with that. I don't like Draymond Green's character too much. I think he comes off as a bully and a schmoozer, especially for people who is better than him or who has higher status and power than him. But that's a lot of people like that. But in terms of what he said to Skip Bayless, I have no problem with that because Skip Bayless had that coming as well too. Skip Bayless thinks he's better than what he is. He thinks he's the the voice of basketball or sports in general. He said he thinks whatever he says is gospel, which is not. He's wrong on a lot of things that he says, and he's go off his opinion and emotion, and rarely does he go off facts. And then he likes to contort and distort narratives to fit his agenda especially when he has a particular player that he likes or dislikes. He starts talking trash about them, calling them out their names, saying disparaging, disrespectful comments about that player, and start labeling them disrespectful nicknames about them. But then when athletes starts going at him, he likes to plead guilty. He likes to plead the victim, etc., like that. Just like Stephen A. Smith, he's exactly the same thing. Just like Stephen A. Smith. So I have no problem with what Draymond did. I look at it as kind of funny and amusing, but that's just the game. That's just the media game right now. Some of these sports athletes they have a voice now. A lot of athletes have podcasts and they're voicing their opinion. They're going at these media pundits, which they in their full right to do. If somebody's disrespecting you, spreading false media propaganda about you, then you as a person have all right to respond or not respond at all. So a little pushback is good, especially if the information is false. We've seen it with Kyrie Irving and Stephen A. Smith. We've seen it with Kevin Durant and Shannon Sharp, etc. And Draymond Green and Skip Bayless are no different. I know deep down Skip Bayless don't like Draymond Green. He's not gonna outright say that, but that's just what it is. And same thing with Skip Bayless and Charles Barkley. He doesn't like Charles Barkley because Charles Barkley keeps low key threatening him, but I don't think Charles Barkley's gonna act on that threat, but he's just saying that he don't like Skip Bayless, and it's the same way vice versa. And Skip Bayless, I think, to some degree, understands it why nobody likes him because he says a lot of disrespectful comments about certain athletes, and he glazes certain athletes to ad nauseum, such as Tom Brady, and people are getting sick and tired of that. Now, the statement where he said about your Undisputed being dead, he's half right. The show is kind of dead. Nobody wants to listen to Skip Bayless anymore. Keyshawn Johnson is flat out awful. And Paul Pierce, he's the only thing that I could say is worth listening to in terms of basketball takes. Richard Sherman, he's hit or miss. But after that, oh yeah, and Rachel Nichols, she's good for basketball takes as well too. So it's her and Paul Pierce. They're good for basketball takes. If I were them, I'll get rid of Keyshawn Johnson. He just doesn't fit the show. He's biased. He doesn't have intellectual take on certain subject. He's good at breaking out football, but that's about it. But even then, I wouldn't even want to listen to him then because he's just not something of interest I would like to listen to on a podcast such as Undisputed. And Skip Bayless, he's been in the game too long to where like he's saying the same thing and his hackney is old, is tired, and he has no new material. So that's how I think about Undisputed. I don't really watch Undisputed like that no more since Shannon left. Sean, even with First Take, I haven't watched it as much. I watched it a couple times with Shannon Sharp on there. Is somewhat entertaining, especially if they're talking about the Lakers or the Cowboys, etc., stuff like that. But after that, a lot of the stuff is hackney as well too. But with the rise of all these players coming out with podcasts, giving their takes and opinions on certain things going on in the league or talking about things that they experience in the league, it gives for a different perspective and an interesting conversation to have with them and other players around them instead of, being bashed by the media on certain subject matter. And then they can feel free to talk about whatever they want to some degree without being monitored or like scrutinized to some degree. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. This is Elo Speaks out. Peace.